There was a boy who came into this world at the hands of a holy woman in a holy place. He wore a red coat and walked a bulldog, saw them reflected in the mirror of the lakes. Lived in the shadow of the mountains with the smells of disinfectant, dusty old leather and the polished wood of his bear. No more than a baby feeding swans on the river, holding the hand of his mother in the wax paper bag of yesterday's bread. And his father on the other side of the world, on the ship's railings, some faraway tide, with the silent dry tear of poor thoughts from abroad in his faraway eyes. His faraway the smell of the wax on the wooden floor, a mixture of polish and soap. No children to fear or to play with, rows of empty hooks for the coats, an upright piano, and the boys in the choir still remind him of just before he was born. Remind him of just before he was breathing. Strange misty visions of God turn the world into a family. Hovering in the air while they're sleeping in the little brick houses of Port Sealand. Send to me the ghosts of Christmas, whispering, you're the only one. And ever since I was a boy, I never felt that I belonged. Like everything they did to me was an experiment to see how I would cope with the illusion, in which direction would I jump. Would I do it all the same as the actors in the game, or would I spin it back at them and not get caught up in their rules and live according to my own, and not be used to find the fundamental truths. It was gonna take some time, 55 summers down the line. The wisdom of its passing years seems to serve only to confuse, seems to serve only to confuse. Everybody! And he came out of the Navy, took us away to his dirty grey hometown. And he worked down a coal mine for national service so that he could be around. There was a magical purple in the glow of the exhaust of his Triumph motorbike, and the warmth of oil and metal and the thrill of the hard corner. Hold it tight. From the horizon came home from the Navy to the mine. From the horizon to buried alive, took his dream to ground, buried his treasure in his far away high. One day as the boy lay sleeping in the sunshine of a half-remembered afternoon, a cloud of breeze with no particular aim and no brain, while the boy decided that his time had come. Came down out of the sky and stung him in the face again and again. Blue brain screaming like baptism, intravenous Jesus like being chosen. So there's no brain. Blue brain, it's happening again. It's happening again. Steve Roderick. Mark Kelly. Preacher Roberts. Ian Mosley. Oh, mommy, daddy, will you sit a while with me? Oh, mommy, daddy, will you jog my memory? Tell me tall tales of Montego Bay, Table Mountain, flying fish, banana spiders, lots of paint, and the sun on the equator, sitting like an ember thrown to deep water, from crimson to black, but coming back tomorrow. This inconvenient, blind, blood diamond, this puzzle, this love, this blind, blood diamond, this puzzle, I don't understand. That knows no free and tracks and facts and tracks again stares at the sea the nights that deep. Oh, last time, please, dance for you. Tracks and dance to play and use our shame. And it's not insane. And it's true. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you. Ian.
I can't remember ever enjoying singing that more. Thanks. We played it a few times. This is a song from our new baby